A lot of companies want to keep track of the referrals that come either from vendors or some of their sales reps and just see who's bringing who to what event. We're going to make this super easy with HubSpot's new form editor, validating the invite code property so that people just can't put in whatever and it goes through, and also reporting this directly on the event record. Let's get in. First, we're going to actually make a property that asks, do you have an invitation code, and make that conditional in the form. So we'll do you have an invite code? And we'll make this a radio select, so yes or no, and we'll make this conditional so that it'll then show the event invitation code property in the form. So about that event invitation property, we'll have an event invitation code, and we're going to actually hit this up as a single line text, but we need to put some rules on it. So you'll want to validate using custom rules, and we're going to leverage regex for this. So this is going to be a simple expression that looks, whether it be uppercase or lowercase, the specific codes that you want to use. So I just have vendor VIP and rep VIP here, but feel free to look in the description below. You'll be able to see the code, copy, paste that, and put that in here, replacing my two codes with all the codes that you have. Then you'll have your invalid value message where you could just say, hey, your code's invalid or code not accepted. And then you can do a little tooltip, which it lets you do. Below, you can test the rules. So if I type in then blah, 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 it says your code is invalid. And then the details pops up the additional invalid value message. So I can then put in vendor VIP and everything is good. I can do camel case and it's all good. So, and if you put in that, it does not work. So this allows it so that you don't have to manually look and see all the codes and make sure that they're okay. You'll be able to easily branch a workflow to set whatever you want to set, whether you want to let them in or you just want to track those registrations. Now we have our two properties on the contact. We need to create the event invitation code on the registrant as well. This is where we're going to do our reporting. So on the registrant, we're going to create the event invitation code, single line text. Don't need any rules here because we're going to copy this directly from the contact upon registration. As always, when you have your HubSpot form on a landing page, it's going to be a contact-based form. But a lot of times we want to memorialize that information onto the registrant object. We'll do that via our new register creator workflow. This is the handy dandy. I've created the edit record where we copy the event invitation code from the contact. So this is going to be the additional data. You want to add this if you don't have the contact in this workflow, which you already should because this is the main workflow whenever someone registers to copy their information from contact to the registrant. You need to click add data, pick the most recently associated contact, which is always going to be the same contact, and then grab that event invitation code from the contact. This is going to write this directly onto the registrant. Now we've got our two contact properties and our registrant property. Let's create the form. One super important thing is that you need to use HubSpot's new form editor. You cannot use the legacy form editor with regex validation. Just a little thing. It's a gotcha. So you got to create this here. What we've done is we've added that do you have an invite code question, and we've added logic to it so that if you click yes, you have an invite code, then it will show the event invitation code so that people that don't have it don't have to worry about it. That's all you have to do, really. You can add all the other properties that you need for your registration, but this is how you're going to be able to have that code. Now let's create the report that's going to show all of the different codes and responses in the event record. When you create your report, you want to create a single object report that's going to report on the registrant record. That is the magical record for Hapily. And now we're going to make sure we look at all data. We really don't need any of these since we're going to report directly on the invite code. So do event invitation code, add that. We don't need email. You can always add email if you'd like. We're going to do our visualization. And we want our invite code and the count of how many people have that. What we'll do now is save this. I'll name it invite code usage, and we'll save that report. We don't need to add it to a dashboard. We're going to add it directly to a record. Go to your event record. We're going to customize this. I'm going to add this under my overview tab. I'm going to customize the record, default view, and I'm going to add a card right up top. In order to do this, we're going to need to create a card that's a report. I'm going to choose my invite code usage, and I want to filter by associations. What this is going to do is it's going to look at the associated registrants and plot their values of the event invitation code property. I'll just do that. Invite codes for the name and save it. Once that loads, you'll now see that I can look and see the quantity of codes used for each of my registrants. Now you can see who's bringing who brought what, and maybe even incentivize your vendors or your reps for inviting people to your upcoming event. And that is how you will very happily.